Okay, quick Tuesday morning radar update, and a little bit of an active one. The markets are a little bit soft today. I've just had a call from my sister, and we put cameras in the parents' house. My dad's away working. My mum's not answering the phone. My mum's not answering a mobile phone. The cameras are off, so we had to use the car. We still have a little bit of fuel in to go and do a run there to check she was okay. Turned out she was okay. And then by absolute luck, we managed to get some fuel in the car, so Mrs. can get to work tomorrow. Moving on. Couldn't get to work today. No fuel. Good job there was someone there to be a train manager. Otherwise the train would have been cancelled. Moving on to the markets. That's the story of my life. Oh, and I did a bit of DIY, as seems to happen every day these days. So we've got a soft day here. You could tell me why we've got a soft day. I don't look at the news. I just take every day as it comes. It doesn't affect my methodology. It shouldn't really affect anyone's. If you're in the market for months to years, there's going to be a lot of news. So kind of mixed. I have a portfolio of commodities here, and obviously oil's making a higher high there. So we had this little downward channel towards the 200 day or the 10 month. I'd rather look at the 10 month myself. Pretty normal action, and we could have said previous resistance becomes support, and it moved into there, and then it went lower. Sometimes markets what are rising will correct a little bit harder. And one thing I always say is the best reward to risk is found under the 200 day or the 10 month. That is rising. If you want to know more about that, have a look at the share scope tutorials I did on moving averages and just basically trend filters. So though people will, at some point a market will move below a 200 day and the market will roll over. It's usually a process, Very few actually go below the 200 day and drop off a cliff, because there is no cliff under the 200 day. That is the reality. The markets, I wish the markets worked like that. We would just hammer the shorts every time, but no, it just doesn't work like that. So, harder, deeper corrections tend to, it's the direction of the moving average. It's not whether it's above it or below it, it's the direction. So the market was still falling the first time that Brent got to the falling 10 month, and that turned out to be a pretty good short area. So think of it like that. Moving on, that's today's technical tips. I'm just going to say it again. This could go wide loose and stay in here for ages, but just be aware of these inflection points if you hold commodity weighted portfolios. Me, not so much. When it's on, it's on. If it's not on, and you will get pops in commodities, and you will think it's going to be on every time you see the pop. The best way to approach commodities is see the across the board move. You will see all the stocks setting up together from, really good bases, whatever. Back in 2015, was it? They all tend to do the same thing, and they all set up very bullish patterns together, and they start to sort of hold the lows, and all of a sudden you get the across the board move. That's the time to ride the commodity trend. Other than that, it's a shorter term vehicle, choppy as. Moving on. So it's a down day. We probably won't see that much in the screens. Let's quickly see what time it is. It's 10:50. We should have traded 33% to be on average volume. That would be about 50% to be on conviction. Not much to see this morning. Investment trust, get through those. A couple of bit of news in a couple of my put stocks, which are positive on the day. It's a mixed portfolio for me today. There's movement up and movement down. It's pretty much flat. So we've got so close to all-time highs on the open, so close yesterday. Not quite got the whack-a-moles are sat at all-time highs in my portfolio. High five to everyone at trading bases as well, because the relative strength they are possessing is what you need in the markets. Good relative strength as the market grinds a bit. One of the messier sort of swing setups we saw, this one was one of the messy ones, but you can see the old reversal there, the swing point in the mix. JSC, obviously, we had a look at that one last night. It's a recovery, isn't it? High five to those who pointed that one out. Royal Dutch as well. Obviously, we looked at that little base and it came straight back in, and then there was a little base here, wasn't there? And the Oilers did start to set up together, and as we say, what you're seeing today is the result of what we saw last week. Well, in the screens over the last couple of weeks, you don't see them for ages, and then all of a sudden the leaders start to pop up. So you take notice. MOTR, high five to those in this one as well. I'm not in it myself. Moving on, let's get into the small caps. 33% about, wasn't it? Was that right? 10, 52, 11, 33. Yeah, we've got a lot on small caps. Amazingly, small caps are doing well. Well, there's quite a few in the list anyway. Let's just buzz through them. IMO, yeah, we spoke about this one last night as well, didn't we? Solly, it's a little bit rear view for me, but last chance saloon area, we talked about it in depth last night. I won't bring the GTRS up again on that, as anyone who's trying to get filled maybe today will already have seen that. Phoenix Copper, obviously, didn't hit the swing points last night, I don't think, this one. Oh, share scope's trying to update. Let me just stop that. Yeah. Very obvious area there. We had a swing point a week or so back. It's not, it's another, just not really in play at the moment, Copper, is it? But TGR, yeah, I have a position in this. It's drifting. I got in over here. Previous resistance becomes support. We saw it on the swing screens. I got in over here. It's still drifting. I plan to trail and add above here, not until. Well, that's crazy talk. Why would you do that? Well, because if it's actually rising on a time frame, what's going to make money in a bigger trend, it's got to trade that level. I don't care what price it is. Position sizing deals with all things like that. Multiples of risk is what counts. Position sizing is the key to making money and not getting chopped up by volatility. More volatile stocks will have lower sizes. Less volatile stock will have higher position sizes naturally, by the way they sort of by the bracket on the entry. It's not an exact rule, obviously, but soak up the volatility to even out the volatility of the portfolio. ZPHR, yes, I took that one. I took it from down here on the base sheet, and I already rotated the profit in that. We saw it again here and here. I didn't take it. We see it today. I didn't take it today either. I've got another oiler running though. More running than I thought, isn't there? I won't dwell on the rear view one so much. Reverse vol base, you know, it's hard to get reward to risk on that one, on this setup alone. Hurricane energy, we talked about that one last night as well. So obviously it's oil and gas day today, isn't it? Tasty, amazing. So we saw that one in the right side, but it's not for me. Doesn't stop the setup being profitable. So that is today's volume leaders. There's not that much to look at. I will run them again later, and if I see anything I will post it in chat. But yeah, just grinding it out. Imagine, here's the thing, imagine, you know the sort of opinions on summertime trading. You know, when you trade for a living, you don't turn your backs on the markets. You just have to trade when the markets are there to trade. You know, if you're in a secular bear market, you can walk away from the screens for weeks to months if you want. But when you're in a bull market and you're in a pullback, or a choppy summer environment, some of the best trades move out of there. So everyone who walked away from the markets in summer missed that big push of stocks back to all-time highs. You know, fantastic little period. You come into the period where people say the market should get better, and then we have a horrible grindy phase. Not horrible, but you know, there seems less going on now. Well, there's quite a lot going on. There's been a lot go through the screens recently, but it just seems the markets are a little bit more grindy as a whole, as we've seen in the trend models as well. So we'll see how that pans out. Okay, leave it there.